I will propose ways to move forward in relation to or in the light of the 5 insights discussed. All these aim not only to ensure a better school year, but most importantly, to help future-proof quality instruction. And here's hoping that some of these are relevant to your context or can be modified or enriched to suit your needs. Action number 1, scalability. I repeat, scalability. Other than thoroughly assessing and evaluating your tech and human resource capacity, as I mentioned earlier, develop an educational technology environment for flexibility and change. Always remember, technology is a passing fancy. It changes over time. Minsan, hindi pa tayo bayad sa phone or gadget we purchased on installment, a new or an upgraded model is already out. So remember that when planning for your next steps. Always go back to the basic question in tech acquisition. What are the fundamental building blocks of online classrooms or IT infrastructure? And the most important question that your own IT heads or consultants should work on is, how do you make them flexible, integrated, or modular so that they can be remixed as circumstances change? For instance, how can you integrate your LMS with your SMS or school management system in such a way, for instance, that some SMS features such as attendance checking can also be used in different subjects in the LMS. So from SMS to LMS. In simple words, develop a system that integrates everything that you need, requiring only a single sign-on. Aggressively work on how your different systems talk to each other. Let your IT team explore flexible or agile types of IT and technology. This can help your schools be better able to pivot in the future, not just next year. Of course, assess the current technical and pedagogical skills of the faculty. At Aralinks, we have the Aralinks Readiness Assessment or ARA and the Aralinks Standards in Tech Integration or ASTIG. But these assessment tools may not be enough for you. So you may further design one that will intentionally assess what you intend to find out. In terms of enrichment or complementary curricular programs, adopt those that can truly benefit all students and can be expanded or developed over time. At Aralinks, we did not immediately offer robotics since we wanted to complete this progression to empower students to move from consumers to curators, remixers, creators of content to curators, remixers, and creators of technology. The cost of including robotics at the time the Aralin's Coding Education or ACE program was being developed was prohibitive for many schools. So we started with coding because it was more flexible and accessible to schools and students at different points in their edtech journey. So as technology becomes cheaper and easier to use, ACE will be able to scale and become more accessible to more students and teachers. And you have seen in this, learning academy, the potential of the ACE program. You have seen the projects that the students created to solve real world problems. So that was scalability. Let us now go to action number 2. Still and always, ladies and gentlemen, learning first, technology second. Regardless of the modality, may pandemic man o wala. Let us not lose sight of our focus and get distracted with the flurry of technologies in education. As learning institutions, our mantra should always be learning first. And there is no excuse to this. Yes, not even the pandemic. again and again. In educational technology or edtech, ed comes before tech. So it is always learning first, technology second. To do this, teacher training programs on distance learning must prioritize pedagogies and heutagogies. Professional development programs for teachers must be pedagogy driven now more than ever. Of course, we talk about technology, but let us keep asking and challenging ourselves how technology can extend learning, how technology can deepen learning. As a basic guide in instructional technology, let us not use technology for technology's sake. We already have the technology tools such as an LMS needed for distance learning. The challenge moving forward is how these tools can truly transform learning. I repeat what I said earlier. Let us not just use technology as enhancement or digitization to the traditional way of teaching. Let us take advantage of its potentials to truly transform learning, to ensure quality and effective learning. Even in the face of learning technology advancement and innovations, it is still the teacher who will ensure that learning happens. Time and again, we have been warned. Technology will not, or we have been told, not warned. Technology will not replace good teachers, but teachers who teach with technology will replace those who will not. But let me rephrase that to stress the value of how teachers should use technology. Technology will not replace good teachers, but teachers who teach with technology appropriately and effectively will replace those who will not. Teacher efficacy in online distance learning underpins two hows: how to use the technology and how to use it effectively to achieve the learning targets. Using assessments such as the Araling's Readiness Assessment, as also mentioned earlier, the training programs for teachers must be truly based on both the pedagogical and technical skills, not just on the perceived needs. Gather and utilize the data that you need. Your documented experiences, student outcomes, assessment results, feedback from both internal and external stakeholders, etc. Empirical data should inform our decisions. Empirical data should direct our next moves. Furthermore, there are gaps between how teachers want training and how they get it. I repeat, there are gaps between how teachers want training. You all want training. And how you teachers get it. What we have seen for students, modern learning management system, asynchronous delivery, online portals full of rich digital content should also apply or be made available for teachers as they skill up and as they improve in this quickly changing digital landscape. When it comes to trainings, move to a more flexible set of methodologies around delivery with innovation and tools to allow teachers to learn when they want, where they want, just like we talk about with students. So that's why at Aralinks, we put up Leap, our online training portal. A lot of you have expressed that the said online learning portal has been very useful. Leap was put up not only to complement our usual face-to-face trainings, but also as a platform for teachers to learn online too. Because if we want to be effective online learning teachers, we must experience learning in an online modality too. Even as there was a rising case of COVID in May last year, there were those that insisted to be trained face to face. I stood my ground on denying this request primarily for safety reasons. I insisted on running the trainings online. But other than safety, equally important is my goal, our goal, and our intention to push teachers to be immersed first in tech powered learning as students. I repeat, as students, so that they get to experience a semblance of online distance learning firsthand. Expectedly, there was resistance at first for some, but thankfully, they eventually appreciated and saw the meaningful purpose of such move. We have already seen and experienced the future of trainings and upskillings for teachers. What are they? Webinars and other virtual learning initiatives such as Alaga. The past days here in Alaga, we have heard teachers and students affirm that despite the challenges, our students are learning remotely. So, if students can learn at a distance, why can't teachers learn that way too? I repeat. So if students can learn at a distance, why can't teachers learn that way too? Thoughts on this? Please comment below. Moving forward, refocus our vision with the goal to always prioritize learning, effective learning. Rethink Rethink then our metrics. Rethink our supervisory and evaluation tools. Okay? Now, let's proceed now to action three. Action three, inclusivity is equal to equity. Make distance learning innovations inclusive. For one, it must cover all aspects that help ensure the collective efficacy of teachers. Addressing teachers' technical and pedagogical skills gap require trainings that are customized based on skills and needs. Trainings, therefore, should not be one size fits all, generic type that are not targeted. Mhm. To those who have been with us for quite some time and to those who already know me, I categorize teachers into two when it comes to tech skills, technical skills. What are they? Ang mga sugnay na makapag-iisa, usually the young ones, and sugnay na di makapag-iisa, mostly you know who. So design trainings based on the kinds of sugnays. Also, select EdTech champions to model and inspire your learning communities, but with the utmost goal that everyone becomes a champion. Sino ang mga naiwan among teachers? Merong may malakas na internet, pero mahina naman sa tech skills. Meron yung malakas sa tech skills, pero mahina naman sa pedagogies. Meron namang magaling sa technical skills and pedagogical skills. Wala namang admin support to sustain the interest and fervor. Teacher education programs must prepare teachers too. Strong pedagogical skills using current and emerging learning technologies is needed in all aspects of teacher training and preparation. In 2021 and beyond, let us continue to close the various gaps from tech to non-tech. We continue to work on addressing equity. Move up that digital hierarchy of needs with support and sustainability measures, both for students and for teachers. Okay, action number four, different levels of support. Pre-pandemic, teachers have already been inundated with tasks beyond teaching. Thus, pivoting to the new normal was not just physically challenging. For some, the emotional stress that goes with learning new things so that learning happens has taken its toll on their well being. Any innovation, especially those that require major and critical shifts in structure and implementation, like distance learning, requires various levels of support. Oh, yes, Teachers are adaptive, resolute, unrelenting, or possess the qualities that we can think of needed in any learning mode or environment. But teachers' well-being is as important as students. Teachers are people too, and they are just as vulnerable as the students and the parents they serve. Learning innovations must strike a balance between execution and well-being of the stakeholders involved. Identify areas, therefore, that need integrated support or handholding. For instance, consider a tech assistant or a help desk for tech concerns of students, teachers, and even parents. On one hand, the subject area coordinators should also de- determinedly pivot into becoming edtech guides to their teachers to ensure that tech use is appropriate and that tech integration is on the right direction. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, let us support each other. Revisit how we nurture and build relationships, our relationships with each other and with our students, including with our parents. As we face all these uncertainties in education, our moral compass as educators should always direct and lead us to the core of our mission. Online and even offline, let us breathe life to our mission of compassion. Compassion amidst the confusion. Be compassionate to students. Be compassionate to fellow teachers. Be compassionate to oneself. And now, finally, action number 5. Let us future proof. Schools scrambled to find the best technology, the best LMS, just to survive. Actions were temporary, intended as emergency band aid solutions. But the pandemic has shown the future. The now is a preview of one possible future. In many ways, we have seen that it is possible to implement distance learning effectively. We have seen that with the right technology and the right learning design, we can personalize learning at a distance. We have seen the limitless potential of technologies to transform learning when optimized appropriately. These are rather difficult, demanding initiatives that have made us feel uncomfortable. But we made them happen. These are our gains. Are we going to abandon all these gains just for convenience? I repeat, are we going to abandon all our gains for convenience? Or are we going to sustain them, leveraging our hard earned experience to push our educational agenda, to push our vision mission? There is no going back to the old way of educating our kids. The future classroom, we were warned, is one without a physical building. The rise of the so-called massive open online courses or MOOCs is a telling reminder that it was already happening a few years back. But it took a pandemic to make most of us believe it was going to be a reality. So, to not just plan and pivot for next school year, plan and pivot for the next in education. Future-proof your school. Future-proof quality instruction. Now, let us do a recap of these 5 actions. First, assess first and evaluate EdTech capacity from software to peopleware. Second, still and always, learning first, technology second. Third, to make new innovations work successfully, provide varying levels of support. Fourth, digital learning equity is about ensuring that no teacher or learner is left behind. And fifth, future-proof learning. Thankfully, ladies and gentlemen, the work that we do at Aralink supports all these. It is because we are more than an LMS. We are a holistic edtech program. Moving further, I personally hope That whatever the future brings in terms of learning modalities, I reiterate that let us not get back to the old way of teaching with technology in the classroom and how we think about it. Let us own our successes in the past several months and bring them forward. The pandemic made the shifts and pivots happen so fast. The disruption it caused also gave us the push needed to do better. It is like when we get sick. We follow doctor's orders and put in the effort to change lifestyle factors to get better and live longer. Yet sometimes we throw that all away once we feel better, even if our healing is not yet complete. And even if our mind tells us what to do, we avoid it because taking care of our health takes a lot of effort. And it is easier to go back to business as usual. Now, if we do the same to our schools, then we have not learned our lesson. And I think the pandemic has taught everyone many lessons that matter. So apply a clinical eye, not only to your ethic agenda, but to your roadmap as an institution. Be ruthless when needed. Check your capacity to execute it. Think with the heart of an educator. Be kind to yourself and others. Build relationships with your stakeholders and partners like Paralinks. Lay foundations to future proof learning and to increase impact and scale. Do it soon, or you might learn a much harsher lesson in the future. There is still much work to be done as we chart our ethic journey and transform goals into action. What is good is that we all took on the challenge, and I think as of today, we have hurdled it. And for that alone, we all deserve a warm round of applause. You all deserve a warm round of applause. And finally, as we plan for the next, let us not forget to always wear our faith mask as educators and formators. I repeat, faith mask as educators and formators. Faith in oneself, faith in each other, faith in our students, and most of all, faith in our God. Thank you.